Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Real Estate Matters. For over 11 years, the voice of real estate in Flagler County and Palm Coast, Florida. I'm Toby Tobin. I'm the publisher of GoToby.com, the contributor to the Palm Coast Observer, and I'm a Florida licensed realtor with the Landmark Group at Compass. Co-host Anna Maria Long with Flagler County Home Builders Association is in the studio with me today.
Hi, Toby. How are you?
Good afternoon. I say good afternoon because we're recording this Thursday afternoon, and all of the numbers I give you will be as of Thursday, not Saturday morning. Thanks to our sponsors. Our lead sponsor is Veranda Bay, a private developing community of lots and luxury homes on the Intercoastal Waterway and with a Flagler Beach post office address. They're not officially in the city yet.
Not yet.
But they feature custom homes by Olson Homes, AR Homes by Arthur Ruttenberg, ICI Homes, and Hulbert Homes. And then a couple of new builders are coming into a newly opened section, Toll Brothers and Dreamfinders. Toll Brothers has already started their model home. We're also sponsored by, thank you very much, the Home Builders Association and the Hammock Community Church, where you can find me Sunday mornings at the 11 o'clock service. It's on A1A in the Hammock. Let's get to September month-to-date numbers. It's not the end of the month, but we're getting there. So the numbers are starting to be a little more meaningful than they are just 1 week in. 171 homes sold through the Flagler County MLS. These are single-family homes. Median price of $375. Last year in September, 221 homes, a total, were sold, and the median price was $362.4 thousand. So we're actually above last year's price, but we're running below the volume. We're
still have a little bit to go.
Yeah, we do, and the last few days there's always a rush of closings, particularly from the builders.
Yep.
So in the category that we track both ends of the market, the low end of the market, 250,000 and below, month to date, 7 of those have sold. 3 were for cash. And days on market, only 9. The $1 million plus market, 11 have closed, 8 of which were for cash. Days on market, 98. And that compares to 61 days on market for the overall sales. And homes listed continues to be dropping. 1,321, that's down from 1,438 in July. And the pending homes is going up. 341, up from 294 in July.
Very good.
And that's a minor good sign.
We'll take it.
A little bit of good news. The median price of homes pending continues to hold steady, $389,990. I might as well just say $390.
I think we can call it $390.
I think we'll round it. The Gindex, which is the ratio between homes listed and homes pending, has dropped down to 4.9, and I'm sorry, it was 4.9 in July. Now it's down to 3.9, and that's another good sign.
That's the first time we've seen it in the 3s in some time now.
That's true. Single-family building permits month to date, the only number we have is the city of Palm Coast because they're the only ones that have this information online. But 71 homes have been building permits have been issued, single-family permits month to date. But I was surprised to see that 146 have been applied for.
Right.
And, you know, in a market that everybody's doom and gloom about now, at least somebody's thinking that it's not going to get bad.
Right. And it is beneficial to get your home permitted before October 1st when the new impact fees go into effect.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
I will not forget about that.
I know you won't. The average 30-year fixed rate mortgage interest rate is down to 6.26. That's the source is Freddie Mac. So I had an interesting observation a couple of days ago. I was looking at, I tend to track single-family homes rather than condominiums because
we don't have many.
We don't have many condominiums, even though I did live in a condo for 12 years. But I was in the Tidelands condominiums over on off Palm Harbor. And I was wondering how that market was doing. But before that, I was looking at townhomes because somebody had asked me about townhomes. And we've got more townhomes going up now than we have ever had in the past. They're the hot item in new construction. So I looked at how many townhomes sold last month, and there were only 3. Because, we don't have a big
There's not many that are permitted either, though, because they do separate those out on the permit report.
Yeah. And we have a bunch that are under construction now. But anyway, one of the 3 was a townhome in Tidelands. And
that can't be right.
I spent 5 years on the board, 2 of them as president of the board, and I'm pretty sure that there aren't any townhomes in Tidelands, although there were structures there that we actually internally called them the townhomes. Because they looked like townhomes or 2-story buildings. They look like what would be categorized as single family attached. But they're not technically townhomes. They are legally defined as condominiums, just like the 3- and 4-story buildings in Tidelands are legally defined as condominiums. But the thing that really surprised me was the listing person, realtor, for that property, someone I've known for years, has been in the industry for years. I thought, how can anybody who's been in the industry here that long make a mistake like this? And it's not trivial because, if you do an MLS search, if you had been looking for a condo in Tidelands, you would have said, search for condo Tidelands, and this would not have come up. You'd have had to have searched townhomes,
which you wouldn't do if you were looking in the Tidelands, knowing that they
if you were looking for a condominium,
exist.
You sure wouldn't be searching on townhome. Then, of course, the other issue comes up that at what point did the potential buyer become aware that they were not buying a townhome, that they were buying a condominium? Because
all of the extras that come in effect with that.
There are differences, and we've got a lot of differences in the industry. So I thought we'd spend today talking about that particular topic. For instance, the city of Palm Coast defines a new development that is master planned as a master planned development.
Or an MPD, as we hear them called.
Yeah, you hear it called MPD. But if you're doing the exact same thing in Flagler County, it's called a PUD, which is a planned unit development. And that's more of an old-fashioned term.
But they're the same thing.
They mean the same thing. So, what really is a townhome? And understand too that just as we have differences even within Flagler County, like PUD versus MPD, we have differences across the state, and in fact, state differences across the country.
Absolutely.
So anything that I say here is take it as more or less a generalization.
Right.
Because
your mileage may vary according to your location.
Yeah, you may be in Colorado and everything I said here is
You're like,
false.
wrong.
But generally accepted terminology, what is a townhome? And a townhome is simply, they're also referred to as single-family dwellings in most areas.
They are.
But they're called attached single-family. And normally an attached single-family, if they're just 2 units, it's usually called a duplex, but it could also be called a townhouse because there are townhome communities that have, some have 2 in a building, 4, 6, 8, up to 8 even. In a stretch beyond, they don't normally make them bigger than 8 because
that gets pretty long.
But it gets long. Then you got fire access to the around back of the buildings becomes important. But townhomes are multiple single-family attached residential units with shared demising walls. And if you own a true townhome, you own the land under the townhome. You may or may not own the yards in front and back, but you own the ground underneath, and you own the entire structure right up through the roof. Now, then we have the demising wall. That's the wall between your unit and your neighbor's unit. And basically, I guess the legal definition would go down the middle of the wall. But if that wall is damaged or destroyed for some reason,
all the way through,
then there's an agreement between the property owners, set of documents that defines what's your responsibility when something like that happens, and other kind of shared elements like the roof.
Yeah.
You don't have to have that demising wall go up through the roof, so from the outside, it's one continuous roof line. So there are agreements that would prevent you from going in and changing from a gray to a brown shingle on your unit.
Right.
and sometimes the homeowners association accepts responsibility to maintain and replace the roof and have a reserve fund to do that, because they all have to be replaced at the same time.
Yeah.
One of the other things about townhomes, typically they're no more than 2 stories. They're not multiple like condominiums and apartments can often be. And they have a separate outside entrance. Then ownership, I would cover that. And then they must be stacked with no vertical overlap. And here's where it's important in the titling situation, because while you can't tell it from the outside, looking at the quote townhome unquote units, some of the units actually do overlap. I mean, there are bedrooms in one unit that might be above the garage of the adjoining unit.
So they don't have that true separation, vertical
they don't
separation.
Have that vertical wall. So we'll get back to this as soon as we're done with this short break. Don't go away, folks. We'll be right back.
Hi, this is Ken Belshie at Veranda Bay, inviting you to see over 40 new, never-released home sites. Phase 1 sold out in record time, so don't miss your chance on Phase 2. All home sites have planned water access with resort-style amenities. These are big, estate-sized lots. Schedule your private showing now at verandabay.com.
On the water, beyond belief, Veranda Bay.
Well, welcome back, everybody. Thanks for staying with us. We'd like to throw out another thanks to our sponsor, Veranda Bay. In the first half of the show, we're talking about what's a townhome. Actually, we're going to get into what's a condominium, what's a single family, what's an apartment, because these are confusing terms. In some ways, the term is an architectural or style or structure type definition. In other usages, they can be a legal definition.
Right.
So
and it matters.
They can be both, and it really does, especially the legal definition part.
Yeah.
When
really building it and when selling it.
So let's just make sure we got a townhome defined. A single family attached, usually a string of them, no more than 2 stories, separate outside entrance. The ownership includes the land on which the unit stands and the entire vertical structure. They must be stacked with no vertical overlap. And then there's, we mentioned it, but there's typically an agreement that defines overlapping responsibilities like roof maintenance. And townhomes are popular, particularly for first-time buyers or budget buyers, because they tend to be less expensive than single-family unattached residences, but they feel more like a home than a condo or an apartment.
They were very popular. I went to college at the University of North Florida, and in Jacksonville, a lot of my friends, their parents had purchased townhomes as an investment property, and then they would live in one of the bedrooms of maybe a 3-bedroom townhome, and then they would rent out the other 2 bedrooms to roommates, and that would obviously pay the rent or the mortgage on that townhome. But there was several different townhome communities around the university, and a lot of them were inhabited by young professionals and students, because it is also a great great investment property.
And townhomes can be rental units, or they can be owner-occupied, but if you occupy them, it qualifies as a homestead.
Right.
Just as a single-family unattached home would. And townhome communities are typically governed by homeowners associations. So what's a single-family? SFR, single-family
residence.
Okay, they can be either attached or unattached. If it's primarily designed to be occupied by a household unit, it's a single-family. So it doesn't, although we typically, when you hear single-family residential, in fact, the zoning, in local zoning, single-family residential is single-family residential unattached.
Yes, it doesn't include.
There's separate zoning for multifamily and separate zoning for duplexes.
That's why we see duplexes in kind of clustered together in some of the infill areas, the original ITT platted lots, because only certain areas are zoned to have the duplexes or the attached single families.
Yep. They're typically,
which could technically be 2 townhomes together too.
Typically a little wider lots.
Yeah.
So what's a condominium? So a condominium, if you ask most people, they'll say it's looks
big
like
building.
like a big apartment building.
Yeah.
They're the same. And they say the same about apartments. It's usually
looks like a condo,
big tall building with lots of little beehives in it. But a condominium is just simply, it's a legal description. It's not an architectural style.
Right, because it can look however it's designed.
It can be a single-family, unattached home community. And it's how it's defined. In fact, I was part of a potential real estate transaction that didn't go through, but it was under contract for a while. Going through due diligence, we found that an agreement with the neighboring property owner put some restrictions on what could be built on this property. And there was a list of things that could be. It didn't have a list that couldn't be, but a restaurant could go on it or condominiums could go on it. And the builder wanted to build single-family homes. He said, well, I'm screwed. I can't do that. I said, well, yes, you can. You can put single-family homes there and define them as condominiums, and you will have. And so we could have gotten around that issue, but there were too many other issues we couldn't get around. But a condominium, one of the other differences is you often see commercial condominiums. You don't.
I also live there. No, my office is an office condominium, actually.
And you don't have a rental single family unattached home is not considered a commercial. No. It's a commercial venture, but it's not a commercial.
But in an office condominium, you can own the unit. So we own our unit, and I believe the people next to us own all 3. Yeah. Yeah, and then we're responsible for everything inside of it.
But you're governed by a condominium association.
We are.
Rather than a homeowners association. Now, with a condominium, typically the legal description in legal language says inside the box, the air inside the box. It's not the land underneath. It's not the exterior walls.
Right.
It's the box, and it'll vary from condominium to condominium, but usually the description includes your wall coverings like paint or wallpaper, but not the sheetrock. and that becomes common area. Everything outside the box or encasing the box is common area. But a condominium could be, as we know from Tidelands, a townhome-looking
Right.
unit, or it could be an actual townhome. A true definitional townhome could be a condominium, single-family, unattached, or multi-story, because Tidelands has those too. They've got 3- and 4-story buildings. And then everything else is a common area owned fractionally by all unit owners. It's not owned generally by the association. It is defined as owned in Tidelands, there are 252 units. So when I owned a unit there, I owned 1/252nd of the common areas.
And what kind of common areas are there? Like a pool?
All the amenities, the streets, the entrance.
So then you also
the
pay
gates.
for 1/252nd of all of those things and their repairs and maintenance.
Well, not necessarily. In some, in Tidelands that was true. The bigger units paid the same as the smaller units, but some condominiums are defined so that you pay pro rata based on your square footage.
Oh, that's interesting.
And you can also have common elements can be to both residential and commercial. We covered that. But some of the common areas can be or will be defined. They all will be defined either as shared, which would be the streets, the lawns, or limited use. Now in Tidelands, the lanai was a limited use common area. It was for my own use, but in some respects we shared the maintenance of it. But the insurance was under the condominium association.
I see.
For the lanai. Same with the garage units. They were limited use common areas. Condominiums can include single-family, unattached, or attached units. Condominiums do well in a dense urban environment.
Yes.
Which is why we don't have so many, because in a dense urban environment, just like apartment complexes, you just go vertical, and this is where you have to optimize your land usage. Condominiums are typically governed by documents of condominium, which can be very voluminous and should be read before you buy a condominium, because that's where you find out that you can't have anything but white window treatments.
Yes.
You can only have so many cars, things like that.
So many pets.
So many pets of certain breeds. And they're governed by condominium boards. And because the condominium association is responsible typically for maintaining much more, because much of the structure is common area and roads and streets. The association fee typically is higher for condominiums than it is for homeowners associations and townhomes. Single-family HOAs usually have the lowest association fees because they're just doing the roads and streets typically. And apartment complexes are owned by a single entity. Like condos, they can be of several different structure types, but units do not have separate assessed values or tax IDs. If you look at the property appraiser, you click on a unit on an apartment building, and it shows that just one blob, the
entire property.
The entire ownership. And renters do not share in any equity gain, and they cannot be homesteaded.
Right.
So we kind of rushed through that. We pretty much made it to the end. Oh, no, I have 2 more pages. But
you can go to gotoby.com and read them.
Yeah, I'll be posting these, by the way, and this video podcast will be within a couple of days from your watching it or hearing it on the radio. It'll be up on gotoby.com. Go under across the top, you've got tabs, click on podcast. And I not only post the video, but I post a copy of our show notes so you can see what we didn't get to. So let's wrap this up. If you have any questions or suggestions for real estate matters or gotoby.com, reach out to me. You can call me at 386-931-7124 or email me at toby@gotoby.com. I'm Toby Tobin, and I approve this show. See you next week.